Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for him.
Yes, it is. It is time for hemp. Thank you for tuning in to the big broadcast today. This is a show that is focused on the amazing aspects of cannabis, hemp, and we hope that you share us with all of your friends and you all sit down and jointly watch this together. And I say jointly because we hope that anytime you hear the word joint on the big broadcast, that you hit your pipes, your bongs, your vaporizers, and you take time for hemp. All around the world, this plant is changing people's lives. It is making construction easier to do, better homes, giving us more durable clothing, awesome food, and of course, great medications. And we are putting a spotlight on some of all of that today. But before we get down the road too far, I want to bring on one of my joint hosts here on the big joint broadcast, a hardworking activist up in Canada who is dedicated to ending cannabis prohibition. Our hardworking friend and our joint buddy here, Al Graham. Hey, Al, how's it going?
It's going good, Casper. It's going really well. And I look forward to today's broadcast, and I look forward to what our guest is going to say.
Well, don't you have a little broadcasting network up there that reaches a couple of bazillion people all around the world?
Yes, Pace Radio Network. You can find us at paceradio.net. It says radio in our name, but we're also video as well, not only audio. And you can find cannabis as well as psychedelic information on the network 7 days a week.
And you also go out and get involved in the community, don't you?
Yes, we go to different events. For example, Global Marijuana March in Toronto. We would go to that. We would cover that live, broadcast that is live as well.
Nice, nice. And speaking of great joint hosts who have a lot of history behind them and know an awful lot about this amazing plant. In fact, this individual knows enough about the plant to have written a groovy book called For Country and Cannabis. His name is Al Byrne. Hey, Al, thank you for being a joint host on the big broadcast today.
Well, of course, always a pleasure. And it's always nice to know that we have international acclaim. We're seen in Canada and, of course, other places as well, the United States. Yes, that's a good book. I highly recommend it, of course, as I wrote it. 360 pages. It's a real book. It has probably more information about cannabis history, the plant, the people, and a lot of medical nursing information that if you're in that practice, either one, you should read this book and figure out what's going on here in today's modern world. Now, in the book, I did not mention in particular, I did mention cannabis oil, of course, positively. But I did not go into the details of it in any degree, which what we call now FECO, F-E-C-O, simply full extract cannabis oil. And our guest coming up here is a guy that I just met recently, came highly recommended by Dr. Uma. You guys remember our interviews with
I
Dr.
love
Uma.
Dr. Uma. She's an
Yeah,
amazing individual, and she's charming, and she's witty, and oh my gosh, I learned so much from having her on the show.
Yep, all of the above. I agree completely. We're going to get her back here pretty quick. But anyway, Dr. Uma Dinabalan, her practice is in Georgia and Massachusetts near Boston. And she introduced me to this young man, and I'm going to introduce you to him. Here he is, Dave Doppler.
Hi.
Welcome, Dave. How you doing?
Welcome. Welcome.
Good to see you guys. How's everybody doing today?
Groovy,
Good.
welcome to the show.
Good. Good to be here.
It's a pleasure. Well, as I introduced you to the audience, I guess, as a favorite human being of Dr. Uma Dinabalan, who is a favorite of ours. And Dr. Uma is in Massachusetts near Boston. She works out of there. And you're in Massachusetts where?
I'm in Uxbridge, Massachusetts.
Nice.
And, she's in Cambridge. Matter of fact, back in 2014, I went to Cannabis College, and she was one of my teachers.
Wow,
So,
you attended Cannabis College. Isn't that cool that they have a Cannabis College?
Yeah, it is. It's very cool. And that. Go ahead.
Well, let's start off with that. Where was it? Who did it? What the hell? What'd you learn? Why were you there?
Okay. Well, I started out. Basically, I started out where I was having health problems of my own. I had osteoarthritis throughout my whole body. So I've had bone fusions throughout my body. My hands have fusions in joints and so forth. So I was in a lot of pain, and all the doctors wanted to do was feed me the opiates, and I wasn't about to go that route. So I was looking for something else, and I had been a cannabis user since I was 13 years old. So I figured, what else can I do with cannabis? So
wait a minute. How did you get involved in cannabis at the age of 13? Did you did you become a dealer? Did you go to the hood? What?
No. It's just out in the woods with a couple of friends, and we took the Big Brother stash, went out and with a corncob pipe and smoked it.
Good for you.
I thought I had arrived.
Yeah,
and you've been smoking this. You've been smoking the wacky weed ever since.
Yeah. And I always said to myself, as I always pictured myself sitting on my rocking chair, with my pipe. As I got older, that's it's always going to be in my life for sure.
Well, I'm not in my rocket chair, but I do have my pipe. So change your vision. Yeah, it'll happen. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
All right. So back to the meat here. You're going to college, and what's going on?
Yeah. Well, basically, I was looking for a solution for my pain. So I was talking to somebody and said that there was a new college. It was the Northeast Institute of Cannabis right here in Massachusetts, and I decided I'd go to school for cannabis, and because it's always been in my heart as something that's important. So I wanted to learn about it, and I became just knowledgeable of cannabis. I had Dr. Uma as the teacher, and she just taught me how to just use cannabis to heal ourselves. And then I went online looking for cannabis oil, because that's what I was told to use, FECO or cannabis oil or RSO as people call it, looking for a solution. So I asked around, and I came across this guy. He sold me what I thought was cannabis oil, and I gave him $600, and I never saw anything. So I got ripped off.
Yeah.
So I ended up finding this Facebook page in 2014. It said, "We have cannabis oil," and it was run by, I don't know if you guys ever knew Roland A. Doobie.
Yes. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. He's been a guest on the show a handful of times. Been enjoying
Yeah.
him. He's got
Yeah.
a great sense of humor. I love Roland.
Yeah. Well, he ended up passing away.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. But
Broke my heart.
yeah, but he showed me how to make cannabis oil. So I started making it, and he was selling cannabis oil on Facebook, and he had his oil makers, and he taught me how to make oil, and I became one of his oil makers.
Well, you learn from the best. Roland Roland had a series on my network, Time for Hemp Network, for about a year, and he had to end it because of his passing. And
Yeah.
I've kept every one of his segments, and they need to be unearthed in his honor. It's nice to hear.
Absolutely.
It's nice to know that somebody is still benefiting from that remarkable spirit.
Yeah. So yeah. So then I started to, and so I educated myself in the college so that I knew what cannabinoids work best for certain situations, as far as health for people, as far as fibromyalgia, pain, cancers, all kinds of different illnesses. And I've just, over the years, I've just researched and researched and researched to get the information that I need to help people. And then as I was helping people and making cannabis oil for everybody, this was back in 2014, so there was only a handful of states that were legal at that time. And so I was reaching out to people and helping them to have access to cannabis. So I was mailing it all over the country. Just being a rebel to get the people the medicine that they need.
Well, that information wasn't easy to discover, and it still isn't. How were you able to unearth the information you needed to make the oils that you do?
Well, it's getting better, but just a lot of research and talking to a lot of people. Dr. Umer taught me a lot, but there, certain cannabinoids like CBD is awesome for anti-inflammation. THC is great for pain. Like you were talking about, Casper, earlier in the conversation was about the CBN. CBN is great for sleep. And people that are struggling with sleep, that's a good recommendation. Also, THCV, THCV for weight loss.
Now, I've only heard that term a couple of times. What is THCV?
THCV is the precursor. It's one of the precursors to THC. When you get the raw plant, you've got THCV, you've got THCA, and these are all parts of the cannabinoids that they're before it's been decarboxylated, before it's been heated. All right, because once you heat it, it changes from THCA or THCV to THC, period. And then actually THC will change to CBN if you just keep going with it. In other words, when you've got THC, what changes THC to CBN is oxygen, time, and heat. Those three things will change THC, or so-called old weed. You got an old bag of weed hanging around that's been around for a long time. It's probably filled with CBN because it's been sitting around for so long. Okay. But just to learn the different cannabinoids to help recommend things for people. We have many mixes of oils that we have in my company where we make different mixes. We make a mix that we call Super 21. In other words, it's got multiple cannabinoids, and it's got 21 different 21 different strains in this oil, because that gives you the most cannabinoids in an oil. So we've taken, not every strain of cannabis has the same cannabinoids. Basically, they some are higher in THC, some are higher in CBD, some are higher in CBN, and so forth. So what we've done is we take multiple different strains and we put them together to make one oil, and that's the oil that we make for cancers, and it's called Super 21 because it has the 21 different strains in it.
that takes quite a bit of work and diligence to get that many strains into one concoction. That just can't be an overnight thing to learn.
No, we, there's, the internet's great because the internet shows you where cannabinoids are in each strain, so forth, as well as, every batch that we make, we have tested so that we know the cannabinoid content. And then we're able to, make recommendations for people and so forth.
All right. 'Cause I had to laugh when you say that because I refer to YouTube as YouTube University. So yeah, you're right. There's a lot you can learn on the internet.
Yeah. So with our Facebook page, we're just out to help people, help them gain access to the medicine they need. It's just pretty. It's an incredible plant. It's a plant that has so many uses. A lot of people don't even know about the endocannabinoid system that we have in our body. It's a system that's, and like any other system we have in our body, we've got the circulatory system, we've got the nervous system, and we have the endocannabinoid system.
So,
and
go ahead.
The endocannabinoid system consists of receptors throughout our whole body. So we've got receptors in our lungs, we've got receptors in our eyes, in our brain, everywhere in our body. CB1 and CB2 receptors, and there's actually a third receptor that's just come out not too long ago, or discovered.
It's amazing too how the body reacts to natural things. I just recently learned that sunflower seed is great for your eyes because it helps the lens of the back of your eyes, which is basically attached to your brain. And so just the fact that a sunflower seed can do that, it's amazing what a cannabis hemp plant can do for the body. Now, when you make these oils, what do you do with it? Do you put it in a drum, bury it underground for some kind of future catastrophe, store it for yourself?
No, we make it, and like I said, he's scrolling through our page right now with all the different strains that we make and so forth. When people ask us for specific, a 1-to-1 strain, 50% CBD, 50% THC, we can make that for them. We have CBD, CBG mixes. We have just plain CBD mixes, sativas and indicas and hybrids, and so we can certainly make. We also make an oil that doesn't have any of the chlorophylls or plant waxes, and you can see it right there on the screen. It's the honey oil, and it's our cleanest oil. So it doesn't have any of the chlorophyll or the plant waxes, or sometimes the chlorophyll will upset people's stomach.
I see you have it available over here as a hybrid full spectrum honey oil.
Yeah. It's a full spectrum, which is basically the whole plant.
Yeah.
It's the whole
Dave,
plant.
when you were saying, just want to clarify in my head, I think I know what you said. You said you have CBD mixes?
Yeah, we have like a CBD CBG mix.
Do you have a CBD that's coming from various plants and you meld them together?
We have right now we have 3 different CBD strains that we use. So we and as far as that's concerned, we do have a mix of CBDs, but not a ton. In other words, not like our Super 21 where we've got 21 different strains.
Yeah, no, but it's 3.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, if you get to the point where you were mixing individual compounds to make a salad out of it or something. But I mean, I'm back to Dr. Raphael Mechoulam, the entourage effect. It seems that your 21 for sure is just a living example of Ralphie's entourage effect. Entourage effect meaning, folks, kind of the more the merrier. The more you can get into that batch of medicine, the better off you're going to be. And I think is that your philosophy with 21?
Exactly, and it's cannabis has over 100 different cannabinoids in it, but not every strain has all 100 cannabinoids. So
Right.
we decided to come up with the 21 because it's got the most important cannabinoids that we think is important to people's health and illnesses that, especially cancer.
Okay, I've got a two-part question. Someone's coming to your website for this type of medication. That must mean that they're also self-medicating. So they've had to have found some type of literature or found some type of reason to be directed to your website for their cure. So how does that happen? That's one.
Well,
And
generally,
two,
oh,
well,
go
yeah,
ahead, sorry.
okay. And then the second one is once they have discovered what they think would be a benefit to them, how is it that you're legally able to distribute this through your website? Do you have FDA overlook? Do you have government agencies looking in? Does your mom just stop by and make sure you didn't put too much sugar in there? What?
Well, we do have all of our oil completely tested. All of our oil is lab tested. So if anybody buys oil from us, they can get it. They can get a lab test. It's currently dated. So a lot of times, people will be selling oil out of their backyard or what have you, but they're not. That's the first thing when people come to me and say, Dave, I've got this oil and I'm trying to cure my cancer. Is it going to do it? And I'm like, well, what's in it? And they're like, well, I'm not really sure. He said it's for cancer. And I'm like, well, you really need to know what's in your oil, and you need to make sure that you get a lab test. And if he can't come up with a lab test, then the oil's not worth taking. And people will show me lab tests that these people will give them to show that matches their oil, but the test that they're showing is 2 years old. That's not right.
That's not tested oil.
No.
Yeah.
The problem is people are ignorant, so people don't know. And when people are in desperation where they have cancer or something like that, they're gonna overlook things like that.
Well, and that's the other question. I mean, somebody's got cancer. How do they happen to find your website? Is it a recommendation? Are you out? And you treat more than just cancer. So if they're not sure, is there a doctor on your team that they can consult? Is there some type of advice they can find? Okay, yeah. I'll let you answer all those questions.
Okay. Well, you should certainly talk to Dr. Uma. Dr. Uma has sent clients of hers to me to get oil, so she can certainly make recommendations that way. But when people come to me, I'm more than willing to give them a recommendation as to what I think they should use or what they should try. I'm even willing to send people out a sample to try. I don't want to send something to somebody that's not going to work for them. If they want to try it, go ahead and try it. And then if it's something that's working for you, then we'll talk about buying it. So it's not, I'm not in this to make money. I'm in it to help people, educate people, and to tell them about the endocannabinoid system and what this plant can do for them.
Well, that don't make sense. You're involved in a pharmaceutical industry, and you're not interested in making money. That doesn't. I
know.
Doesn't make sense. Make that make sense.
Yeah, he's not in the pharmaceutical industry. I'll contend that he is in a health industry that is naturally based.
Okay.
That's what we do here, Casper. Come on.
I seen on your website there, Dave, that you also had gummies, which a lot of people enjoy gummies. Do they come like with this 21 oil in them?
We can make gummy bears out of anything that you can see on our website. You can get the 21 gummies, sure. Yeah, or indica gummies or sativa gummies or hybrid gummies or a CBG mix gummy or whatever. We can certainly make gummies in any of the oils that we have. Yeah.
Custom orders?
Can we discuss gummies in general?
Sure.
Yeah, see, I'm not a big fan of gummies, never have been. They work. Don't get me wrong, folks.
Oh, they do. Yes, they do.
But they can, we all know that. And I'm not trying to deny that. I'm just trying to say for the inexperienced people, this can create a real problem. And I'm going to have Dave address this. But I just want folks to know that there's a government program, and there's all these bogus people running around saying cannabis is dangerous. Look at all the ER admissions. All these people are going into ERs, and cannabis is this and bad. Well, what that is, there's nothing wrong with the cannabis. This is people that have, quote, and I'll say the word, they have overdosed on cannabis. Yes, you can do that. And when you do that, it is not fun. I've done it twice. Not fun. So, and I'm an experienced cannabis user, but if you're not, you just think you're going to die or something. It's terrible. So the problem we have is if you smoke it like I do with my bowl, I'm able to titrate that. I can take the effect of the smoke, and it all happens rather quickly. And I can say, oh, yeah, God, I feel good now. I'm relaxed, whatever it is I'm seeking. If I eat that gummy now, it's going to take me a while. And the problem we have is people especially the younger folks in our society, they're acclimated to, now, man, I want it fucking now, and that's the way they accepted gummies. So, Dave, please tell us about gummies, how you make them, and please, how people should use them.
Okay. Well, the gummies we make them with, they're gelatin gummies, so they're like any gummy that you would buy at the supermarket or the drugstore or whatever. But but like I said, we can have them made any strength that you want or any mix that you want. I do caution people when they get the gummies, as well as the oil, the FECO oil. It's very, very important to take a small dose first and wait. I tell everybody, with the gummy or with the oil, take your first dose 2 hours before bed, and listen to your body for those 2 hours. See how it's making you feel. If you feel good, then that's probably a good dose for you. If it's too heavy for you, then it's time to just lay down and go to bed. But do not take another dose that night. Determine your next dose size the next day. In other words, if you're going to dose a gummy the next day, then you determine, last night I took 1 gummy and I was okay, so maybe I can do 2 gummies, so and so forth. But I always tell, and it's the same with the oil, the FECO oil. I get sick of people on the internet saying, start with a rice grain of oil. That's too much for most people. I tell people to take a toothpick, dab a little bit on the end of a toothpick the size of a pinhead, and put it under your tongue, and wait 2 hours before you even decide about taking another dose, because it can be surprising to some people. I've had very large people come to me that have got weight on, and they say, I can handle a large dose. And I'm like, well, don't listen to me then. Go ahead and take a large dose. And they take a large dose, and they were like, you were right. Even because you're a large person doesn't mean you can handle it. Everybody's tolerance is different.
Yep. The gummies that I have started taking for sleep says specifically on the pack, take 1/4 at a time. And what you just said, move up. And then it says also, do not eat more than 1 gummy in a 24-hour period. So,
well, good. See, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah.
You guys are just cementing what I wanted you to say, that it's the dose. The product is fine. It's like any product. It has to be used appropriately.
Well, and you're right, too. The first night that I used them for sleep, I had like a half a gummy. I took 2/4. One, I took them kind of apart. And I got 6 hours of sleep. And then the next night I took 3/4 of a gummy, and I got 7.5 hours of sleep, woke up rested, and boom, I know my limit. And you're right. I don't want to be having too much cannabis feeling while I'm trying to sleep. It'll cause me panic.
Again, I appreciate you saying you can cut these gummies up. I was going to say that. You did it much better, but I'll emphasize it. You don't have to take the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take a chunk of it. Yeah.
And you're right. It's amazing what a little will do. I mean, I've been using cannabis for 100 years, and I was quite surprised what this little piece of gummy did for my sleep.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Dave, you said that you had severe pain problems and have paid the price for that. I assume that somewhere along the line you said, hey, maybe I should try this myself.
Well, that was my goal in the first place, was to get the oil for myself, or make it for myself, and it certainly takes care of my pain. I've been well, I'm a avid cannabis user. I use it every day. I've usually got a joint hanging out of my mouth most of the day, and I'll eat gummies before I go to bed. But it's my medicine. It's, I tell people, don't forget to take your vitamin THC. It's important, I think. I think that it's a lot of times, back in the, before prohibition and all that, CBD used to be in everything, because they used to grow fields and fields and fields of hemp. The cows were out there eating the CBD. The meat is filling up with CBD, and then you're eating it, and now we don't have it, and we're suffering.
Now, how do you determine what types of elements you're making oils for? Do you wait for somebody to call you up and say, hey, I got a problem, I've got sleep apnea, or I have a problem, I got cancer, or I got I don't know, fungus foot nail, and then you go, oh, well, I'll make a CBD oil for you? Or do you just have a standard, we got 12 things that we approach, and if you got these 12 problems, we can help? Well,
basically, we're dealing a lot of times we're dealing with symptoms or specific problems. If it's some kind of disease, or that starts with, ends with itis, like arthritis, bursitis, any of those are inflammation diseases. And a lot of times, for an inflammation disease, we would recommend CBD. CBD is great for inflammation. So in that instance, we would, if somebody came to me and said, Dave, I'm dealing with, arthritis, I'm dealing with, I got numbness in my feet, I'm just swollen, whatever, CBD is very good for inflammation and to take that down. Now, if they're dealing with pain, we're going to recommend THC, and probably CBD also, because a lot of times pain goes along with inflammation. So,
well, and do you have a concoction for sleep apnea or for insomnia, those types of problems for people?
We have, yeah, and it's usually a THC CBN mix for somebody that's having sleep issues. A CBN is the go-to when it's sleep problem.
How long has CBN been around?
It's been around forever.
Well, how long has it been since we've been aware of it? How's that?
I would probably say the 1990s, somewhere around there, when they discovered the endocannabinoid system, in Israel there, where they discovered it, and then they probably shortly after that they discovered it. Probably early 2000s, probably. Where they, started discovering each of the cannabinoids, and they're still discovering them today.
Yeah.
I was at a conference in Colorado a couple months ago, and I was talking to a scientist over there, and he was telling me that, I always tell people there's over 100 cannabinoids in the plant. He's telling me that there's about 300, and I was like, wow, yeah. So. They're discovering new things with cannabis every day. It's just amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, if you had read my book, you would have found out that way back when the federal government was saying, hey, there's 300 compounds in this cannabis plant. you know, boy, danger, danger, danger. Then, you know, I'm talking 1990, gang. And so our answer was, you know, the feeble answer, but it was good. And so, yeah, but there's 400 compounds in a tomato. What's the problem? Which was also true.
Yeah.
I'm always interested to see that modern education about cannabis is still about 25 years behind me. It's in one way it's really cool and that it's happening at all. In another way, it's like, come on, get with the program. All right, listen, FECO. We said this at the beginning. A lot of people don't know what the hell we're talking about. Full extract. Could you explain what that means, please, Dave, and how you get it extracted?
Yep. There's many, excuse me, there's many ways to extract from the cannabis plant. I think there's only one safe way, really, myself, and that's an alcohol extraction. So we basically what we're doing is we're taking the plant, we're grinding it up, we're soaking it in alcohol, which is 190 proof ethanol, and then we soak it overnight. Then we strain it, and then it's evaporated. All that alcohol is evaporated out of it, and you're left with an oil. That's your basic extraction, and that's basically how it's done. We have some scientific equipment that we use to do it now. You know, it used to be that you would a lot of people at home, they're doing it with the magic butter machine and the distiller to distill the alcohol off of it and so forth. But it's full extract cannabis oil is what FECO stands for. Some people call it FECO, some people call it FECO, tomato, but it's the whole plant. It's not just isolates. We're not isolating out THC or CBD or any of the other cannabinoids. It's the full plant. So that's why it's full extract. It's the whole plant.
I understand that. I've got my own scientific tools to extract the cannabis out of the plant. Yes,
well, I just used a magic butter machine just this past weekend, really. I make that magic butter mainly for my dogs. I give them just a tiny bit every night, and it helps them, I believe, and it helps their sleep. But it's full extract, if you will. I put in whole buds, and it turned them, into the machine, and it did its thing. It's magic. It really works pretty well, folks. But okay, let's. All right, so I agree with you completely about the alcohol. I was glad you brought that up. That, in your opinion and mine, that's the only safe method. There are other methods. They should know what they are, and you want to ask these questions, folks. If you're going to buy FECO, it's how is it extracted? You want to hear alcohol. What else could they hear, Dave?
Well, we're down to about a full hour. Al Graham and Al Byrne, do either of you have another question that we want to close out with for Dave?
That's it. Answer that one. What's the bad stuff?
Bad stuff is all kinds of stuff. People are using hexane, butane, you name it. People are trying it. People are trying it. And there's all kinds of, isopropyl alcohol is poison. A lot of people are extracting with the isopropyl alcohol. And they may give you a stronger oil, believe it or not. The hexane and the butane, they'll give you a stronger oil or a bigger percentage of alcohol, but you're never, ever going to get the chemicals out of it, no matter how you purge it. You're not going to.
So you're using high proof alcohol, like spirits.
190 proof.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff you get from the liquor end of things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's the only safe way, really. If you're using FECO to heal yourself, why make yourself sicker?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Graham, you got a final question for our guest?
Let's see, where can people find your website? I know it's been down here across the bottom of the screen. The information you've got is valuable for people. And is there any concern as far as when it comes to limits for people to reach out to you, whether someone is trying to help their young child or anything along that line? Like, is there any restrictions on that end?
No, there's no restrictions at all. We see anybody from infants right up to, I've got customers that are in their 90s. So absolutely. And we're willing to talk to anybody. We gain a lot of knowledge just from talking to people.
Yes.
There's a lot of people out there that are using cannabis for certain illnesses and so forth. And we would just love to talk to you. My phone is always attached to my hip, so people can call me. My number is on the website, which is DopplerEssentialOil.com.
And do you have an essential oil that can be used to help remove the gas from a politician?
That we have not determined how to do that yet.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Dave, for being a guest on the show. Any final things you want to share with our audience before we part?
Just be well, people. Don't be afraid to ask questions about cannabis. It is a healer. So dig in.
And I want to thank you out there for paying attention to the work that we do here and for sharing us with your friends. That is how we are found. And you can locate us on Rumble and BitChute and YouTube and iHeart and iTunes. Anywhere there's sound to be found on the internet, we're around making sound, telling the whole world just how important it is to take time for hemp.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp. Throughout Earth's history, hemp has been used, no mystery. Hemp was legal to pay your taxes for more than a century. Check your faxes. The founding fathers make sense to me. It's time to grow hemp legally. Think of all its uses. It's money that's well spent. Right now, no excuses. It's time for hemp. Sustainable green industry, that's our intent. A better place this world will be. It's time for hemp. Fuel and food and clothes and soap, housing, cars, yeah, cars, no joke. Henry Ford built a car of hemp. It's time for us to do it again. People be employed with balanced farming as it's meant. Right now, it's time for hemp. Hemp is a true necessity for the wealth and protection of this country. These are words of Jefferson Thomas. He grew hemp, why not us? It's time to lift the hemp ban. It's time to lift the hemp ban. Yes, we can. I know we can. We can make a difference. Yes, we can. Yes, I know we can. We can work together and lift the hemp ban. Look at all that money, yeah, the money that Dave spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him.